Nyxora did not know it was being farmed. When the first power stations hummed to life, when copper veins carried electricity through their cities like artificial nerves, the signal pierced the dark between stars. To the Watchers, it was the sound of a heartbeat strong enough to be harvested. The Watchers existed in two incompatible forms. One a towering mass of bone-white architecture and crawling limbs. The other, a thin, flayed silhouette that moved through solid matter like a surgical thought. They did not build machines, they bred them. Across continental slabs of silicon, they cultivated obscene gardens of flesh, grafted to crystal. Nerves crawled through etched circuits, eyes opened where processors should have been. These living matrices learned by suffering, their neural webs expanding as they were force-fed the screams, histories, and neurological patterns of entire species. Every memory, every instinct for survival, every nightmare buried in the Nyxoran genome was flensed from the silicon mines until they collapsed into twitching, brain-dead masses. What remained, concentrated terror and intelligence, was rendered into a thick, black nutrient slurry and injected into a growing sac the size of a moon. It pulsed like a diseased heart, its shell alive with veins that rearranged themselves when exposed to thought. It could not exist in space, and above all, a thinking population whose electromagnetic emissions would keep it awake. The implantation was not an attack, it was a violation. A parasitic delivery engine plunged from orbit and bored into Nyxora's crust. Billions died instantly, their bodies shredded into vapor and slurry that lubricated the drill as it burrowed downward. The device anchored itself miles beneath the surface, rupturing magma chambers, snapping fault lines like bones. The egg was pushed into the mantle, but below, the planet began to rot. The egg bonded with the core, wrapping itself around the planet's magnetic field like a nervous system. It fed constantly on geothermal energy, on seismic stress, on the unconscious bioelectric output of Nyxora's population. People began to dream of pressure, of something listening beneath their feet. Then the ground began to sweat warm, metallic fluid that smelled faintly of blood. When hatching began, it was not instantaneous. It was drawn out, so the maximum amount of awareness could be harvested. Continents buckled inward, as if pulled by invisible hooks, exposing screaming sea floors before boiling away. The mantle surged upward in colossal wet convulsions, vomiting flesh-coated magma into the sky. Cities were not destroyed. They were folded, crushed into organic layers as the egg forced the planet to invert itself. A sound traveled through the planet, not audible, but felt. A psychic rupture, as every living mind on Nyxora experienced the same realization at once. The world was an egg, and they were inside it. As the newborn tore free, the planet split apart like ruptured skin. The crust peeled away in screaming slabs. The core was consumed, drained, and hollowed out in seconds. What remained of Nyxora was a cloud of meat, stone, and atmosphere, spiraling into space. The creature emerged fully formed, slick with planetary matter, wrapped in continents like afterbirth. Nyxora's final scream, compressed into a burst of electromagnetic agony, was absorbed, archived, and categorized. The experiment was complete. Life had once again proven its highest purpose: to be broken.